So I never thought that being vulnerable would be so hard. That's where I really knew that I needed healing because I didn't know how to be vulnerable with, let's say, men, right? Welcome to Michelle Lives Embodied, and this is day 37 of 100 days posting on YouTube. Um, so one of the things that I was talking about yesterday was building stronger connections. And one of the things that I've noticed and I have been practicing is being more vulnerable. Um, yes, for me, and I don't know if this was because of how I was raised or because of my past pain and traumas, but it was always really hard for me to be vulnerable, open up, and express my feelings or emotions toward a man. You know, for me, expressing like towards anybody else, like if it was my kids, it's my sister, my mother, my father, that was never a problem. It was communicating the vulnerability. I think that was for me my biggest struggle. Who else struggles with being vulnerable in their communication? Um, I think, well, I feel like for me, I found it easiest, don't judge me, but I found it easiest to practice on men that I didn't care about, right? And I got that little tip from somewhere. I can't remember where I came from. Oh, I think I know what it was. I was using an app last year. I don't remember. I think it was called Headway or not Headway. It was one of those apps. Anyway, so I was using that app and it was teaching you how to communicate, or trying to teach me how to communicate more in a feminine, vulnerable, and way. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, needless to say, I have always been able to easily practice being vulnerable on men that I wouldn't say that I didn't care about, but men that I knew that I was not interested in that kind of way. So me being vulnerable wasn't per se like something that I was scared of that would push them away, because it was like, well, I'm not really interested in a romantic relationship with them, so I can be vulnerable without feeling like it's going to push them away, right? And for me, I feel like for me, going into becoming the woman that I admire, being soft and feminine, but strong, steady, calm at the same time, being able to communicate in a soft, feminine way my vulnerabilities, just without fear, and just being fear that I would be rejected, you know, is something that we're taking baby steps on, right? And I'm actually very, very, very proud of myself because I did set a boundary with someone that I have never in my past have ever been able to create a boundary with. And I was like, well, and for me, it's kind of like a setting a somewhat of a boundary, but a standard of what I'm expecting um, for myself, right? Making sure that I stay aligned with what it is that I need in relationships. And I think that's really important as becoming, you know, who I admire. She's somebody who is going to be protecting her peace, right? Not just FYI, my friend told me that I talk to myself. I talk in a third person, and I don't know why I do that, but I don't know. Anyway, so I just wanted to really talk about that being vulnerable. For me, I am still learning vulnerability, but at the same time, how to be able to be vulnerable and still protect your peace for me is the next challenging thing because I don't know yet if there's a gray area there. So we're learning that one step there. So anybody who has experienced the process of being open, soft, feminine, share your thoughts in the comments. All right. So anyway, it is Thursday and it's 2 days after our mental health day. Yesterday was pretty flat in the morning, but it started to pick up a little bit more towards the afternoon and the rest of the day. And actually, I really enjoyed tennis. It is it is challenging, and it for me the most challenging part of it was actually the eye to hand coordination. And I think the game itself is fun, you know. But when my sister has a son and he's probably like 10 now, I think he's 10, but his agility and his fast on his feet, and me and my sister were like, we're just old and slow. Not that we were old, but we're older and a lot slower than he is. Of course, he was so quick on his feet and he could run across the tennis court, and I was like, oh, this takes a lot of moving around. I mean, I've always considered myself in pretty good shape. I at one point could knock out 45 minutes on the Stairmaster. Um, so, yeah, tennis kind of humbled me there. Who else has played tennis? Any tips, any advice for tennis? I will be doing some research on YouTube because we do plan on going back and learning more, playing more tennis. So, I don't know. Anyway, so that's it for today. We're going to practice being more vulnerable, especially with the people that matter, that are in our lives, that we actually do have relationships with, because that is one of the most important parts of building stronger connections, right, with people. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna chime out. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.